I'm Q guy, ba bee ba ba ba, ba ba bee ba ba bam bam. You're not a Q. Haven't got a silly hat. You don't turn up wearing stupid clothes. Well, you do wear stupid clothes, but they're not the right kind of stupid clothes. And Q never acknowledges you. You're not a Q. Well, I can be a Q if I want to, so there. I'm Q guy, ba bee ba ba ba. Hello and welcome to another episode of TrekHammer, where we're talking about every single episode of Star Trek, from the first ones right through to the modern day. Today, it's the turn of the Squire of Gothos. Few episodes of Star Trek cause more debate than whether Trelane is a Q. To be honest with you, I've seen arguments from both for and against on this, and they're all pretty good. It's a very solid idea. And yes, in Q Squared, the novel, he becomes a member of the Q Continuum. The problem is that that is beta canon because it's a novel rather than a show. So whether you adhere to that is, of course, from your point of view. From mine, anything that's beta canon doesn't count. And that's just how it is. So we've got this idea of this super powerful being who can just create matter, change matter, destroy matter whenever he wants. But he doesn't understand it fully. And that was a great part of this. So Kirk and co are flying around doing their usual thing of looking at stuff and exploring the galaxy when they come across, well, something that shouldn't be there. They've got this planet and it's clearly not habitable for humans. But there's a human down there. And he sends them a message. Pip pip tally-ho. So naturally they go and investigate. But not necessarily because they want to. Instead, it's because Kirk and Sulu have been kidnapped straight from the bridge. So naturally, now there's a hostile situation, so they've got to go in and have a look around. McCoy goes down with a couple of people that we've never met before and finds that there's just this weird guy who looks like he's dressed for the 16th century, just playing a harpsichord in a room. And there's a fire, but the fire doesn't give off heat. There's some food, but it doesn't taste. And there's some drink, but it doesn't have taste either. Kirk and Sulu are there. They're held in stasis. Weirdly enough, the salt vampire from the Man Trap is also there, but it's a statue. I thought that was a nice callback. This guy has been looking around all over the place, even though he claims to have just been observing Earth, which is cool and very interesting. He's the Squire of Gothos. He's Trelane. He's godlike. And he can change things just by the flick of a hand when he's near a mirror. Now, this is where the debate comes in. Because a lot of people think, oh, that's his technology. He needs to have that technology and be near it in order to allow him to use it. We never see him touch the technology. It must be mental control, if anything. Or he's got some kind of USB system or something, Bluetooth system even, and he could do it via his fingers. I don't know. Some technology, apparently. Here's the thing, though. When Kirk eventually realizes what's going on and destroys that machine, Trelane doesn't lose his powers. In fact, he never loses his powers throughout the entire episode. Even when the older versions of his species arrive later on, he's still got those powers. So he's basically putting humanity on trial via testing Kirk and enjoying himself with some new toys. That's the entire thing. He's a child playing with toys. That's what comes out near the end. It's a very Twilight Zone episode, and it's dark. It's like, what would you do if you were captured by a person with the mind of a child but the powers of a god? And it's that kind of Twilight Zone, creepy, almost verging on horror aspect that comes through very, very strong. It's Star Trek at its best, once again. So it's very interesting. They all try to get away. The entire plot line is about Kirk and co getting away from this guy as quickly and as efficiently as they can without hurting anyone. So Kirk eventually gets this guy annoyed. And they're having a duel, which is nice.
Oh, a duel! How very delightful!
Kirk fires and destroys the machine, which this guy seems to act like it loses him his power. He's got no power anymore. He's upset And they all just leave. He shouts that, no, you can't leave. I haven't dismissed you yet. And he's having a tantrum. But what's actually happening is he's not lost power. He's testing them. It's very clear. When you watch it again, he's testing them. They go back to the ship. They try and leave. And the Squire of Gothos, Trelane, keeps moving the planet in front of them. Every time they get away, there's the planet again. It's like they're going in a circle, but they're not in a circle. He's just toying with them. It is so good. The threat level just keeps building and building and building. This guy is a definite threat, and it never lets up throughout the entire thing. It's tense, and it's really well written. This is a fantastic episode. Really is. And then he follows. So here's the thing. If that machine was the source of his power, did he fix it in a couple of seconds? Or was that a test to see how smart Kirk and co were? I think it's a test, but it's up to you to decide. Which is another thing I love about Star Trek. It's up to you to decide. So, here's the thing that really shows that Trelane is probably a Q. The next thing he does is take Kirk and put him on trial. It is a proper trial of humanity with Kirk in Picard's place. We see Q do the same sort of thing, only this time it's a hanging judge. And if Kirk loses, that's it for Kirk. He's gone. So Kirk tells his ship, it's got to go. If he doesn't get back, take the ship and go. Get everyone out of there. Kirk is very much thinking only of his crew at this point. So he tells the ship to go. If I'm not back in a few minutes, get out of here. Kirk is thinking only of the ship. He keeps Trelane occupied. He challenges him to another duel, essentially. Well, it's more like a hunt. So let's say he challenges him to a hunt. Kirk's the prey. This guy's going to come and attack. They fight, and Kirk actually wins, which is really cool. Like Kirk, the walking stack of books from his original description in the Kirk pilot, he manages to outthink and outfight a literal god and come out on top. It's great. And then after Kirk has defeated this literal godlike being and smashed his sword and made him have a massive temper tantrum, his parents arrive. It's brilliant. The tension just disappears because this kid, he's just a kid. He might have godlike powers, but it's a child pretending to be a man. And his parents tell him he has to stop being so nasty to his pets. And now he has to come inside and stop playing. And he just disappears while having a tantrum against his parents. It is so funny. It's like, even though this creature is so monumentally more powerful than anything that Kirk and Spock and company have ever encountered, there's still something that's even more powerful than him. It's brilliantly done. It's like, it just makes the whole of the Star Trek universe seem that much more dangerous. Because not only is there something even more powerful than Trelane, it turns out Trelane is a child with a kid's view of the world and the ability to just wipe you out with a snap of his fingers. It's so well done. I absolutely love this episode. Is it the best? Well, it's an interesting thing because we don't get a lot of explanation of what Trelane is, which I think actually adds to the tension. We don't know what this thing is at any point. It's not explained. Even after he's been taken away and the parents have essentially apologised, we still don't know what that thing is. Whether it's coming back or whether it's going to be angry. It's brilliant in that respect. However, it's a little bit childish at times, and to some extent there is a bit in the middle of the episode where it kind of slows down a bit. And I know that it slows down to give you a breather before it builds up to the next bit, but it does have that drop. So, for that reason, rather than keeping the tension at a steadily building pace, or just being tense, really tense at the end, or anything like that, it has a little dip. I'm going to have to give it a warp factor of 9.9. It's almost perfect. But am I a little bit too harsh there? Am I a little bit too more generous there? I would love to hear your views. Please do let me know in the comments. Let's have a conversation about Star Trek. I always like a conversation about Star Trek with you guys. But for the moment, Warp Factor 9.9, Mr. Sulu, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching TrekHammer. Live long and prosper. I'll see you later. If you like the show, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It really does help create future videos. That's patreon.com/Zoe Kirk Robinson. And I've got an extra special thanks going out to Chief89, Sam Yates, Retro Mickey 82, Mo Henry, and George Bortorini. Thank you so much, guys.